Hey Tesla fans, it's Adir from T-Sportline, and today we'll be going over our DIY installation of our MSX Apple CarPlay and Android Auto device. This is for the AMD system. If you have Intel, you can refer to our other video, which is available on YouTube and in the product page. First, we'll start with the device itself. You have the screen and all the things you'll need to get the installation done. Next, a few tools. We'll have a small Phillips, small flathead trim removal tool, 10mm socket, which can be used either on one of these or on a handheld ratchet. We'll kick it over to Oliver and he'll show you how to get this done.
So here we are again. We're going to put another screen in another Tesla. So to start off, we need to remove the dash, the end caps. We're going to pull the passenger side trim panel down. And on this one, we're actually going to go through into the hood, underneath where the hood is. To connect up the powers and the grounds underneath there. So to start off, you're going to need something like a little plastic trim tool. You're going to pop these end panels off here, this side. We don't need to take this off, and then you can pop the dash up. Grab the dash and pull it up like we've done previously. Do the same thing on the other side. So once you have the dashboard out, we need to obviously attach the screen. Now, you can place it anywhere you want across the vent. We've figured out that if you want it more central, if you count 26 holes in from the very side, make sure you count it from underneath, because if you count it from on top, all the holes don't transfer. There's actually more holes on the top than there is on the bottom. So you want to count it from the bottom side. So count 26 in, and then you want to mount the screen up from underneath. Throw your red cable through where the 26 hole is. And each cable goes through a separate hole. Once you have all the cables in, you can pull them individually through, and then they'll meet up, and then the bracket itself will click into the dash. So once you have the screen in with all the cables coming out the back with your 26 holes from here over to here for the Y, 23 for the 3, you take the plastic plate that comes in the kit and you put your cables through this long slot here. This then becomes like a giant washer. So you put this in, you line it up with some of the holes, and you get your screws that came with the kit with your washers. You attach it to the dash. Okay, so now we've got all the screws in. I suggest you use a normal screwdriver. Don't try and go crazy with an impact driver with a screw thing, because you'll strip all the threads and it won't be any good for anybody. Then, while you've got this on the table, let's take the harness with all of the ends on it, connect them up. Now these plugs, they'll only go one way, and you will notice there'll be an arrow on the top, and it'll meet up with an arrow on the other piece, on the other end, and they'll push together. There's a little bit of resistance, but not a vast amount. But you've got to make sure those arrows are right, otherwise you'll bend the pins inside the plugs. The blue one doesn't get connected to anything, and then you'll have another one for the GPS antenna, which just pushes in together and clicks. The GPS, we're actually going to mount it behind where the original screen was. I prefer it up there because you don't see it. You don't see behind the screen. Some people will put it on the dash and stuff, but if you can put it behind the screen, you don't even see it on your vision, on your viewer vision. So now we've got all this in here. We can route it roughly where we're going to be across the dash, and we're going to take it back to the car and we're going to drop this in. So now we're back in the car again. We're going to drop the dash with the newly mounted screen into the car. When you put this back on, make sure that the cables don't go over any of these mounting points, which is where the original dash goes. Okay, so we're going to flip this upside down, right way up. I'm going to put it roughly in position here. And like I said before, we're going to mount the GPS antenna behind the screen so you don't see it. Run these cables down the center of the dash, along with your GPS antenna here. You want to back it up on itself and run this with it too. Okay, once it's in position, you click it down on one side and click it down on the other side, and then your dash will be seated. So now we have the dash in position, all clicked down, and you'll have the cables coming out the passenger side. We need to remove this end cap again. Again, always with the fingers if you can. And then you'll have your clip up here again. So just get your little screwdriver or pry tool in here, pop the clip out. And then let's remove this trim panel here. Pull the rubber up, rubber seal up. Pop this thing out. Now this customer's already put some aftermarket stuff in himself. So you'll see there's some extra cable in here as well. So once you have the trim off, pop the other screw out, put this rubber seal back in, because otherwise it'll all fall down on you. And then you won't be able to put it back up properly. With this cabling here, let's go down around the back and down into this sill panel down here. Now, this plug is exactly the same as the other screens that we've done. This will plug into the blue plug that's down in this sill panel, and then we'll have these black and red cables here which terminate onto like these little C horseshoe clip things. The black one's going to be attached to the chassis of the vehicle, and the red one we're actually going to take it through outside the car and under the hood, and we're going to connect it up to a battery terminal post. So let's plug this harness in first, and first things first, let's pop the hood for the next part of the install. Pop the hood and we'll turn off the car. So you go down to safety again, and then you turn power off, the screen will go off. Then we're going to peel this side seal back and then plug this harness in to this blue plug down here. The other end, it's already taped, just leave it, you don't need to go into it at all. And this will just plug in to the blue plug down here. Okay, so now once we've got the plug in up, you can peel this carpet back a little bit further all the way around here, and you'll see you'll have this half moon shaped thing here. Right behind this piece here, this is actually for the steering column on the right-hand drive cars, like in England and stuff like that. So behind here, there's a huge rubber grommet, like this sort of big. You can actually get it from outside the car easier than you can inside the car. So we're gonna pull that rubber grommet out. We're gonna put a small incision, small little hole in it to run this cable outside, and then we're gonna connect up on the outside. But first things first, let's have a look around in here for a grounding point. I don't see anything in here. So we're gonna take the ground outside too. So let's move this other cabling that this customer's previously put in. And we'll go outside and we'll take this grommet out and run the two cables outside. So now we're outside, we're going to remove some of the panels from underneath. And this Model Y, I think, has like the big HEPA filter. Some of them do, some of them don't, but this one does. So we want to pop this up and put this off to one side. Now with the HEPA filter, to remove the HEPA filter, you're going to need that 10mm. And there's one bolt here, and I think there's one on the other side. So we're going to remove that one bolt there. And this other one on this side. So now we've removed those two 10mm, we should be able to pull this HEPA filter up now. Once you have the HEPA filter out, you can see a hell of a lot more in here. So up here is where we're going to drop the power, the red one. And in the box, it comes with a 10mm, I think it's a 10mm bolt, a 10mm nut, sorry, that will screw onto this. So we're going to drop that on here, and then we'll find a grounding point for the black one. But first things first, we've got to get it outside. So if we look down in this section down here, you'll see that big black grommet that I was on about. Down here behind this air filter box, there's a big black grommet. I'll pull it out for you. It's huge. So what we need to do is we need to make a little cut in this to pull the cables through that are inside, outside. Okay, so to do that, you can get a set of cutters, set of pliers, little blade, whichever way you want to do it. I've just got a little knife, so we're just going to drop this. So once you've got the hole through the rubber grommet, you want to pull the cables through first, because you want to put this rubber grommet on afterwards, at the back afterwards. And to do that, on the inside, you'll notice there'll be some like sound damping and stuff like that on the inside. You do the same thing with the sound damping as you've just done with the rubber grommet. You put a little hole in it so you can get the cables through. So now we're inside the car again, and we're going to put that little hole in that sound damping, which is up here. Like I said earlier on, that's the little half moon shape piece that's up here. If you just get your knife or whatever it is and just poke your little hole in here, okay, once you've got it through just a little bit, you can go back outside and you can pull the excess through from the outside. So now we've got the two cables through here. You can see, if you look down here, you can see a black and a red cable just chilling. So what you want to do is you want to get these and pull them up towards yourself. And once, obviously it doesn't go any further, that means the black one's fully pulled through. And then the red one, keep on going until you can't go any further. Then you want to go, there's a lot of going in inside and outside on this, but you want to go back inside and route the cables roughly where you want them to be. Because right now they'll be real tight and they'll be straight across the floor pan. So you want to pull them back a little bit and put them where you need them to be. The black cable down here, we're going to end up grounding it right where these lines go. Because you've got the cutout on the circle, we're just going to slip it behind this nut right here. And then the red one we're going to bring right up and we're going to put it off this here. So let's go back inside and make sure the cables are in the right position. Looking back inside here, looks good. We've got your fused power here. So we can tuck this cable behind this foam pad that's down here. Okay, and out of the way. And then we can just drop this carpet back up. Okay, so we're done inside now, apart from putting the pieces back together again. So back outside again. So now we have the cables outside and the ones inside are all neatly put away. We need to get these cables through this grommet and seal that hole back up again so we don't have water come back in. So it's important that you get this the right way around. So the red one, put it from the rough side, like the one with the X in, because this is going to be outside on the car. So you put the red one through and then you scroll all the way down and you get the black one that's down here and you do the same thing with that. So once you have both cables through, you want to push this all the way down to the hole where you took it from and be real gentle when you put it back in. Just tuck one side in and then work it around, otherwise you'll push the whole grommet through and it's no good. You got to just pop the edge in all the way around. Once that's in, we want to take this black cable and like I said, we're gonna ground it to this bolt right here, and it's a 13mm bolt. So you get your 13mm and just loosen this up. You only need to loosen it, you don't need to take it all the way off. Because what we're going to do is we're going to slip this black cable behind where the bolt is. Just like that. And then we're going to tighten this thing back up again. Then we're going to get this red cable and we're going to run this. Now you want to be careful where you route it because you don't want it to drop down or anything like that. So ideally if we could route it around the front of this box or follow a wiring harness. I'm going to come underneath here and we're going to come up the other side. And then we're going to mount it to this unit up here with the bolt that came in the box, which is also another 13mm. So you drop this thing on, drop the cap back on. Now with this excess, you don't want it, like I said, you don't want it falling down, so you kind of bunch it up a little bit, get it out the way of anything that's going to get serviced, like the AC lines or anything like that. Get some zip ties, and we'll just zip tie it up out the way. So once you've finished connecting the powers up under the hood, come back inside, check everything comes on. If it doesn't come on, don't be alarmed. One of the plugs that we put under the dash, like the red one or the black one, just unplug it, double check, make sure that you got your arrows lined up, plug them back in, make sure that they're seated correctly and all the way in. Just double check your connections if it doesn't come up. Like I say, this one came straight up. Then to change any of the settings on here, like your time, your temperature, or your TPMS sensors, if you double tap the option, it will change from like on the TPMS from bar to PSI. You want to change the time, you click on the time, and then time zone settings here. Pick wherever you are in the world, and then go back to the thing, and then the same thing with the temperature. You double tap on the temperature, Celsius or Fahrenheit, and then on the side here where it's got your speed, you can flick down and you can go to applications, car settings, CarPlay, turn your screen off, your navigation. You have all the options on the right hand side. And that's it. And that's how you install the screen in the Tesla Model Y or 3.
So now that you've completed the installation process, we're going to go over a few of the features. There are a lot of features on this device. So once you get it installed, you get your phone connected, we recommend going through the different apps and features that are available so that you know how to use it properly. It's always best to learn through experience. However, we'll give you a short recap here. It's a touchscreen display, so you will be able to go through different menu items on the side, time, horsepower. It'll give you the temperature as well, and tire pressure. On the left side, you have the speed. You have access to all of your applications, car settings, so you can go in here, change different things about the Bluetooth, network, and other settings that you may need. Then you can click home. It'll bring you back to this main screen. If you want to select CarPlay, which we'll do right now, you click here. You could also turn the screen off, and you could go to navigation. So let's go back up to the application CarPlay. And as you can tell, we have all of my apps here from my iPhone displaying through the CarPlay. We have messages, phone, music, maps. If you want to use Waze, you could do that as well. You could just scroll through here and find all of the options that you want to go through. And there's a lot of different apps that will connect through your phone. If you ever want to exit out, you just go here, tap again, go back to car, and then it brings you back to the main screen. So pretty easy display to understand and get used to. Again, after some time, you'll know exactly which apps and settings you want, and you can always do what works best for you. You can go to applications as well. This is for the Android Auto device if you're connected through an Android, and same type of situation where you have all of your apps here and you can scroll through, and if you ever need to go back, you just click here. It'll take you back to the home screen. Again, if you have any questions, comments, give us a call, shoot us an email. We're always here to help. Thank you again for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video, and we hope you enjoy the MSX, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto screen. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe because we have many more great videos coming your way soon.